Hello everyone, this is Shadi Reyes from NCVH 2023. I'm really privileged today to be with Dr. Erica Fidone to talk about atherectomy options for patients with endovascular disease, as well as why we don't have endovascular operator as women.
Okay, yeah. So, you know, being a woman interventionalist, I'm certainly not the norm, but, you know, what I've learned being a woman interventionalist is that there's so many women out there who need interventions. Sometimes they're not comfortable going to a man, you know, and so I certainly have found a lot of patients like that. And not only that, there are newer diagnoses coming to the forefront, such as pelvic congestion syndrome, that a lot of women aren't comfortable talking to a man about. And so, you know, when it comes to that, they'll have uterine pain, they'll have, you know, cramping, you know, sometimes even pain after intercourse. And, you know, not every woman's comfortable talking to a man about that. You know, it's a very private thing. And so that's something that I've really found women are gravitating toward me for, and they're comfortable talking about it. And so I'm happy to help out where I can.
But one thing we noticed, like, why there is no drive for women in it. Is there like a barrier to get it there?
No, I think for women, you know, we make choices, right? And for me, I am very career oriented. Now that doesn't mean you can't have it all, but it certainly comes with sacrifices, right? And so I think, you know, being an interventionalist, I'm on call all the time. And that is a very stressful lifestyle. My husband's also an interventionalist. And so, you know, I think for women, that's not always conducive to what they want out of life, you know? Right. And so, you know, I think that is one of the things that there's not a lot of women in interventional for.
Is there, being an interventional cardiologist and also expert in endovascular interventions, is there a concern for radiation?
Yeah, I think there's always that concern, not only for women though, for men too, but certainly during, you know, the years where you're able to get pregnant, absolutely, because those endovascular interventions as opposed to coronary interventions, yes, some coronary interventions are long, but not all of them, but there's some pretty long endovascular interventions, and so certainly radiation is always a concern. And I think, if you're pregnant, that's 100% a concern.
So this meeting, NCVH, is focused and heavy on endovascular, which is, I think, makes it unique compared to other venues.
Correct.
And I mean, I feel like it's really not good not to have endovascular presence at a larger scale of conferences. So I'm glad this is happening. So awareness is important for the patients?
Awareness is important for the patients, yes. And I think awareness at the conferences. I think that's why NCVH is so unique, is because it is strictly an endovascular conference. And it does raise that awareness not only to the interventionalists. There's primary care here, there's nursing and ancillary staff here, and techs, business people of how we can reach more and have successful businesses, so that way we do reach more patients. And then, you know, great networking with the device companies, so we're always building better devices that we can treat patients with. And so absolutely there needs to be more awareness from a conference standpoint, and then absolutely in the general population. I've recently moved back to my hometown of Lufkin, and we plan on giving a series of lectures to the community about, not only to the primary care providers, of course, but to the community about, if you're having these symptoms, it could be peripheral arterial disease, it could be chronic venous disease, and we can do stuff about that, because, you know, a lot of patients don't know that. And so
education and fellows, how important it is.
Yes, so I am
You've been a fellow?
I've been a fellow, yes, and I'm not too far out from fellowship. And I think educating fellows is huge, because they are our future. They are 100% the next leaders in this field, and we need to keep education to them paramount. In fact, there's two fellows here that I did general fellowship with, and they're both finishing their interventional fellowship. And they said since being here, even though that they had peripheral training and fellowship, they said their eyes have been opened.
Yeah.
They didn't know that there was this out there, that device, or you know, and they said they've learned so much, and they're so thankful for this conference. And so, you know, as a fellow, I absorbed everything I could from this conference. Even as a staff now, I'm still coming and absorbing things. You never stop learning, right? And so that's why I'm very passionate about being involved in the Fellows Course, being a co-chairman of the Fellows Course, because we got to keep interventionalists in the PAD world, and they're the future.
Absolutely.
They're the future.
Especially now with the interventional training, there's a lot of focus on number of PCIs you get, coronaries and stuff, and there's a lot of OBLs opening up.
Correct.
So that took the volume from the cath lab where the fellows are getting training.
Yes.
Which make them really kind of unfortunate not to have that exposure.
Yes, yes.
So coming to this meeting, at least to show them this is the reality. When you go to practice in a pandemic area,
absolutely,
you have to do this every day.
Absolutely, yes. They get very focused on coronary training, and you know, they're structural too. Yeah. Structural's the big sexy thing, you know, these days. And so, you know, as a fellow, not every fellowship is created equal, and some get no PAD training.
100%.
And so, no, I love this conference, that they have a dedicated fellows session throughout the whole week in some form or capacity, and they're networking with the world's experts.
Well, Erica, thank you so much for your time.
Of course.
It's been a pleasure speaking to you.
No, thank you so much.
Please watch these videos and others on NCVH YouTube channel. This is Shadi Reyes from NCVH 2023 in New Orleans. Erica, thanks so much.
Absolutely. No, thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Seriously.
Thank you.
Thank you.